On the 28th of June last year, I ordered two watches from Replicahause, an IWC and a Rolex day date. They were sent to me, no problems there. They came well through the post. I had problems with the watches after 3 months, and in late September, early October, I sent them back for warranty repair to Replicahause. I had a lot of problems since then, them honouring their warranty repair obligations, and for the past few months, I've had no contact, so to say, from them at all, even though they have promised to replace and send back the repaired watches. I am at my wit's end to sort of try and work out what I can do next, because they're just not answering any communications from me in regard to what they have promised via email to do. Okay, I've got a few points here, so I'll just refer to those. Back in June, on the 28th of June last year, I purchased two watches from Replicahause, an IWC annual calendar and a Rolex day date. So in future, I'll call them the IWC and the Rolex, just to make it easier for the discussion. And about 3 months later, on the beginning of September, at the end of September, beginning of October, they both failed. They weren't winding on, so that the day date was stuck, and it wouldn't go on to the next day, sort of thing. So I contacted Replicahause. I got an answer from Keisha Gomes, who I think is maybe a generic name that they use for whoever answers the email. It always seems to be Keisha Gomes. And she said, send them back to this address, which she supplied me, and I posted both back. Posted the Rolex back on the 30th of the 9th, and I posted the IWC back on the 5th of the 10th, as she had directed me to do to them back in China. So I sent them back, and I got notification on the 22nd of the 10th that the IWC had been delivered to Replicahause. But the Rolex sent a few days earlier, 5 or 6 days earlier, hadn't arrived. So I kept on asking Keisha, have you seen it? Have you seen it? At the same time, I made my own investigations with Australia Post, and I was told that the Rolex watch had been held up at Shenzhen Customs because they wanted more information about it before they would clear it to go to Replicahause. I emailed that to Kim, and she said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And I kept on asking, have you got it? Have you got it? She said, I haven't got it, but I'll get it, sort of thing. So back around, that went through most of October. On the 23rd of the 10th, I asked her again, what's happened to the Rolex? She kept on saying, the IWC is fixed. We'll send it back next week. And of course, it wasn't getting sent back. She said, we'll wait for the Rolex. So I said, have you got the Rolex? No, we haven't got the Rolex. She said, well, it's been there since the 9th of October. You just have to go. You said you were going to go to clear it out of the customs house. Send them a letter or whatever it was, just contact them. On the 5th of the 11th, she said that she would check it out. I emailed her again. She said that she would check it out, leave it to her, that the IWC watch was there, it had been repaired, and it was ready to send back once the Rolex arrived. Didn't hear any more. I kept on emailing her back, didn't hear anything. On the 28th of the 11th, Keisha sent me an email because I said, look, it's been weeks and weeks. You haven't got the watch yet from the custom house, from Shenzhen Customs. What's happening? So she sent me an email saying, we will replace the Rolex with a new watch, and we will send the IWC that's been repaired. Both will be sent to you within the week, which never happened. And then I didn't hear anything from them, even though I tried 8, 9, 10 times to email them. Didn't hear anything until the 8th of February. And when I finally I get a bit wrong of me, but I placed an order for like a dummy order for another watch. So, and me straight away, even though I'd been emailing her once a week, twice a week, saying what's happening. She didn't respond for 2 and a bit months, 3 months, and then she finally responded straight away. Said, "Look, because of the Chinese New Year and whatever, they were waiting to come back. As soon as they were back, she would let me know, and she would work out the warranty claim." They came back on the 4th of March, and on the 6th of March, I sort of said, "You've been back for a couple of days. Where are my watches?" He said, "Oh, well, we can't find the IWC now. Where's the Rolex?" I said, "Look, this was all discussed and via email back in November, and you had agreed to send a new Rolex, and you had the IWC there that had been repaired." I've not heard anything from them since then, which has been for a month. So I've tried to email her because I'm just saying, just do what you said you were going to do. Replace the Rolex, send me the repaired IWC that you said you had, and just send them, finish it off and send it to me. But she's not answering any emails. I can't get in contact with her. So it doesn't matter how I try and contact her, she's not responding. I haven't had any response for, 5-6 weeks. Now, that's what's happened. So I got frustrated. I thought I would turn to people like yourself, because I saw on your site there's quite a few people that have had problems. Replicahause. I don't know how successful you've been in resolving any, because it looks like they just maybe don't care what they do to consumers. But I've got all the emails, I've got everything else that she's sent me, and as far as I'm concerned, she said that she was back in November that she'd send me a new watch and the repaired watch, and that was November, December, Jan, Feb, March. That was 4 months ago, and I still haven't. So nothing's happened in 4 months. They were the first two watches I'd purchased. I did purchase two more watches after that. I actually did purchase another two watches while these were on their way back, because you know I like the watches that they sell. These weren't cheap watches. These cost me about 1,800 and something US. The other one cost me 680 US. So there was like $1,500 US for the two watches. Minus their discount, I think I still paid them 1,200, just over $1,200 US for the two watches, which in Australian money at the moment is, to $2,000. So they weren't cheap replica watches. And two I've got since then, I got simpler watches in a way that weren't as complicated. And one's got a few problems. The other one I don't wear much, so that one's still going okay. So they do have problems, and they aren't as made as they say they are made on the blurb when you look online. Because I took the one I've got now to a watchmaker, and he said that the wheel that changes the date is missing a pin, and that is probably what happened to the other two. That the one that was meant to turn the day or the date or whatever wasn't well made or wasn't put in properly, and that's why it had failed. So I guess in the proper one, that doesn't happen, but in the ones that they put together, screws are missing, the cogs aren't well made, or the wheels aren't well made, and they fail. It's very hard because they won't answer my emails. I've tried. They gave an address in Australia, which it doesn't exist. I've tried ringing the number in America. Australia, it's very hard to get the right time sort of zone to actually be able to speak to anyone there. I've never got to pick up. Um, so I really don't know what else to do, because all the information they have about contacting them doesn't seem to lead anywhere. Um, you know, they've got an address in Perth, which is office block. There's no floor number, no unit number. And when I went downstairs and I said, I'm looking for this office, we don't have it. Try on this floor. I went up to that. No, we don't have it. So, the lady was very helpful there. She checked through their whole inventory of, I guess, people who have offices in that building, and they weren't one of them. So, yeah, if you guys can't help, and if I don't get any action from you, I'll just keep on trying to get them emails. Well, I'd say be very wary. I'd say um, if you have any problems with your watches, don't believe the fact when they say that these were meant 3-year warranties on them. And I bought the more expensive watches because some have 3 months, or 6 months, and some have 3 years. So I bought what I thought better watches because they had 3-year warranties on them. They still failed after 3 or 4 months, and then they haven't honoured warranty repairs. So I don't know. I'd say to other consumers, just be very careful if you think that you can send it back and you get some sort of service from them repairing your watch and sending it back to you. I think they're quite happy to take it, but they're not. They either just don't have any real desire to repair it and send it back, or to honour commitment as far as their obligations towards their warranties. Okay, I would like in a true world, I'd say I'd like them to do what they said they were going to do. I'd like them to send me a new Rolex day date because they've lost the other one. And that's what they said in 28th of November that they would do. They'd send me a new Rolex day date. So I'd like them to honour that. I'd like to send me the repaired IWC annual calendar. I believe they've most probably lost that as well, even though they kept, I've got 8 or 10 emails saying that they've got it and that it'll be sent back in the week sort of thing. If I have lost it now, that was 4 months ago, then I would be prepared to, take that value against another watch, so that at least I could end up with a watch, or they refund me the money for that watch if they've lost it. But certainly, they said that they were going to replace the Rolex, so they obviously don't have a Rolex. Send me that, and let's work out a deal against the value of the IWC, or send me back the repaired IWC. So send me back the 2 watches, or we'll work out something with the Rolex and another. To be honest, I was extremely frustrated that I just couldn't seem to get any response from them. It doesn't matter who I guess you email to. It doesn't matter if you email to sales of Replicahause or any of the other email addresses. There's quite a lot of email addresses. I've tried all of them. I've tried different people who have sometimes popped up when you order a watch. There's a different guy, David Barnes, as against Keisha Gomes. I've tried sending him emails. I've tried sending it to on their pop-up sort of first page. It says, contact us sort of thing. Do you have any questions? I've put my information in there. I haven't got a response from anyone. So I think the problem is that I think I've exhausted as many avenues as I see. And someone like yourself, I guess they can make this stuff public. No one likes bad information going out there, socially, networking about them failing to live up to their obligations. So I think maybe it can bring pressure to bear, or at least could someone see it and say, look, based on this, I'm going to order from them. So I think, I didn't see any of this sort of stuff when I was going to order my watches, if I would have seen plaints like this beforehand, I would have been very careful, and maybe I wouldn't have sent them back. I would have tried to get them maybe repaired here if possible, rather than sending them back and not having them in my possession, sort of thing. Even though I doubt that it's already been repaired here, but at least I would have put them here rather than sending them back. But I don't know how you hold them accountable, but I feel that they should be accountable.